Welcome to today's Lunch and Learn brought to you by the YMCA Employment and Immigrant Services of Niagara. Today's topic is all about talent on tap, expanding your workforce made easier. According to the Ontario Chamber of Commerce's 2024 Workforce Report, over 60% of employers identified finding candidates with the right skills as their top hiring challenge. The transition from education to employment remains uneven. Youth unemployment, those between the ages of 15 to 24, is consistently double the provincial average, reflecting the difficulty connecting training with available jobs. Surveys from BDC show that 3 in 4 Gen Z workers value flexible scheduling, hybrid options as deciding factors in accepting or staying in a job. And many small and medium-sized enterprises in Ontario experience turnover within the first year of hiring youth employees, often due to misaligned expectations about advancement or work-life balance. So it's timely for us to get together. And in this webinar, we will cover how to access ready-to-work talent without the traditional hiring stress, available funding and incentive programs to support your workforce goals, and strategies to build a stronger pipeline of talent for long-term growth. My name is Mishka Balsam, and I will be your host today. If you wish to enable live transcript, you can find that option on your Zoom screen. If while the webinar is going on, you have any difficulties and any tech difficulties, please just utilize the chat function and one of us will get back to you immediately. Please know that this session is recorded and will be made available afterwards to all participants. But before we begin, I want to highlight our sponsor. Our Lunch and Learn series is proudly sponsored by YMCA Employment and Immigrant Service of Niagara, a steadfast partner in our sessions. Their support is invaluable, offering employment programs that assist job seekers at all levels and providing extensive employment services for employers. And now, without further ado, let's hear from Iris Corrales with the YMCA Niagara.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Mishka, for that warm welcome. So happy to be here with you guys today. Hope that everybody's had a chance to enjoy the beautiful sunny fall day that we're having. So as Mishka mentioned, my name is Iris. I work with the YMCA Employment and Immigrant Services. We have 3 sites, one in St. Catharines on Buntings Road, one in Niagara Falls on Lundy's Lane, and one in Thorold. We just recently moved to a new location at the Pine Street Plaza, right beside the Foodland there. So we have 3 sites where you can access our services. The Y Employment and Immigrant Services has been providing services to employers for almost 40 years. And we're really proud of the heritage and the reputation we've built for being passionate about helping job seekers connect with employers. About 20 years ago, we started working with newcomers to Canada as well. So in addition to the services that we provide to employers, we also do language assessments for newcomers to Canada who are wondering what their language level might be. We have wellness navigators as well out in the community. And we also have this program dedicated to internationally trained professionals who are new to Canada and looking for some guidance with their career, credential recognition, or just trying to find a pathway for how to get back into the career or a similar career once they're here. We're also very happy to help employers by, if you're looking for help running a job fair, arranging information sessions, signing up apprenticeships. We do have staff who are experts in all of that, and we're always happy to help where we can. We do have some funding from Employment Ontario as well to assist with job training, so placements and all of that. So we'd love, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to meet with you and to chat about how we can further support your journey, or as you seek job seekers here in Niagara, how we can be of assistance. So thank you so much for having me, and I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the presentation.
Iris, thank you so very much for being with us. Thank you so very much also for all the services that you offer. We are better here in Niagara because you are by the side of so many, especially small, medium, and bigger sized businesses with the services that you offer. So thank you so very much. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce our experts to you. We have David Cristelli, who is with the Niagara Catholic District School Board with us, Christina Farrow, Director of Academic Advising and Career Services at Niagara College, and Donna Tonus, Manager of Employer Relations and Partnership at Brock University. We're really pleased to have been able to bring these experts forward so that we can have a dialogue about what the opportunities are to make it so much easier for so many businesses. Today's format is meant to be very interactive. What we're going to do is we're going to start out with a short presentation from each speaker, followed by a Q&A session once we have completed all three presentations. The presentations are on the shorter end, so we have a lot of room afterwards for questions. If some of you have brought forward questions already to us via text, via email, or already utilizing the chat function here, if you're part of the webinar and you have some direct questions for a particular expert or just in general, please utilize the chat function. We watch it here, we look at it, and we are committed to getting to all of your questions. So on that note, it is my pleasure to actually ask David Cristelli with the Niagara Catholic District School Board to start out with his presentation, which will be followed by Donna's and then Christina's before we get into our Q&A session. So David, over to you.
Mishka, thanks so much. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate the opportunity to present to all the GNCC members about how Niagara Catholic could be a part of the economic development that they're looking to foster within their businesses and within the community. A lot of people tend to think about high school and the experiential learning associated with high school students as something that doesn't really relate to them. And so, you know, part of the work that we do at Niagara Catholic is, work to try and demystify expectations from people within the community in regards to how co-op and how experiential learning from a high school level might fit with them. And so one of the places where I would start is that we're very much focused on meeting you where you are as a local employer and trainer. And I think that every employer on some level is also a trainer as they try and upskill the people who are new to their business or try and look to promote within. And to me, recruitment and training best starts when it starts early. And that can, we can meet you where you are in terms of you coming into our spaces in order to team teach or do workshops as a guest speaker, as part of a facility tour, or ideally through cooperative education placements. And we can support those in a variety of ways. We have a ton of students within our system who are looking to engage in meaningful experiential learning so that they can make informed decisions about what their pathway may look like as they choose workplace, apprenticeship, college, or university next steps. Last year, as an example, we had 550 students across our 8 schools in co-op placements. This year, because of the value associated with those experiences, we've seen a 59% year-over-year growth, and we have 878 students engaged with co-op opportunities during school hours because they're looking to meaningfully connect with community partners. Mishka mentioned at the beginning of the presentation how youth unemployment is up within the region, and youth are having a harder time accessing workplace opportunities. And I think high school co-ops are a very meaningful way for students to begin building those relationships that are going to allow them to enter the job market as confident, skilled students. And that begins obviously with some level of soft skills development, or as I heard at a conference earlier this year, durable skill development. We could talk about soft skills, but really what we're trying to create within our students is a set of durable skills that translate to multiple spaces. And we're doing that in very meaningful, measurable ways. This year, we've connected with Civic Connect, who you may know within the community. Previously working with job seekers who had already left high school, they're now working to build out soft skills or durable skills within high school students. And so we've partnered with them, and they're actually doing workshops for our co-op students where they speak about effective communication as an example. And so those skills that maybe were eroded a little bit over COVID, we're trying to address in very meaningful ways. We also have a program called Specialist High Skills Major. Specialist High Skills Major comes with certification opportunities that are like capital C certifications. Every student within those programs leaves with first aid CPR. Students going to construction placements leave with working at heights as an example. But we also focus on some of those durable skills in order to give students the best opportunity to be as successful as they can be. And it's reflected in the investment that our local colleges and universities are making in those students. So those 500 students who we have in second semester co-ops this year, many of whom are Specialist High Skills Major SHSM students, also will qualify for scholarships at Brock and Niagara College, ranging from $500 to $1,000 automatic scholarships. And what that tells us as a secondary school system is that those university and college pathways recognize that students who come through our co-op programs are much more likely to be successful when they leave high school and head into their post-secondary pathway, to the point where they're incentivizing those students to come to their institutions. So when Brock says, if you're an SHSM student, we'll give you $500, they know that they're investing in someone who's likely to complete their program because they have previous relationships, they've had training, and they've built an understanding of what's going to be necessary within a pathway that they're seeking. But, measurables, I think, are important. If I'm going to talk to GNCC members about the value in taking a high school co-op student, or coming and delivering a workshop, or potentially offering a facilities tour, I can't just do it without data to back up the value of that investment that the employer is making. And so I can tell you that as an example, our second semester co-op students last year were hired at a 49% rate heading into the summer. And those are students who are going to workplace, college, apprenticeship, and university pathways. And those investments are as wide-ranging as students who did co-ops at engineering firms and were offered internships in the summer to continue working with developing their AutoCAD skills, students who were working in healthcare settings who were hired to offset summer staff absences as people went on vacation, but who now had an understanding of the systems that were required within that office setting, students who were hired in interior design firms to help take notes as part of client meetings because they had been given the opportunity to show that they could take that level of responsibility on, students who are entering the apprenticeship pathway. Really, when we talk about cooperative education and we talk about the students who are represented within that 49%, we're talking about students who are workplace bound, college bound, apprenticeship bound, and university bound. And I think that many people think about high school co-op, college co-op, and university co-op as separate entities when really they're all interconnected. And I'll give you a for instance related to that to illustrate the point. I had a student who did a co-op at a local accounting firm, Crawford Smith and Swallow. Had a great experience. They had a free 4-month preview of that student to know that he would show up every day on time, that he was reliable, he could work well within a group setting, he could follow instructions. And the parting conversation was, I see that you're going into the co-op accounting program at Brock. When your accounting placement time comes up, call us, you're in. So that student had built a pre-existing relationship through their high school co-op that allowed them to then enter their Brock co-op that much more successfully than they otherwise would have. One program supports the other and can be part of a larger training pathway that you might consider as an employer. I know that Civic Connect has done studies that indicate the onboarding cost of onboarding a new employee can be as much as $5,000. When you talk about a high school co-op, you're talking about an unpaid co-op experience. And we're now currently working with groups like YMCA to see if we can also supplement that with wage offsets so that that cost becomes even less as you consider investing in a high school student. The co-op timeline for a high school student is an ongoing relationship that we attempt to build over time with employers. High school co-ops have the advantage of being moderated in the sense that there's a Niagara Catholic staff co-op teacher based in a school who supports that experience as you help to train that student to become somebody who you'd want to hire and invest more training time and energy into. For a second semester co-op, as example, a high school teacher would reach out to an employer, or an employer would reach out to the high school in order to begin the conversation about hosting that student, where we can have a conversation about what that co-op might look like. The employer is welcome to set the guidelines and guide rails that they would like to make that co-op fit within their workplace, recognizing where the student is in their learning journey. Placements would begin in February, where the student gets safety and policy training before they head out to the workplace. And then the co-op teacher visits throughout the semester. We get assessments from the employer throughout the semester, and students get upskilled throughout the semester during monthly integration days. And like I said, that hiring process in June allows for the student to hit the ground running as a paid employee once they've graduated high school, or between their grade 11 and 12 year. We have students in university pathways who have benefited greatly from co-ops, as well as college apprenticeship and workplace. And the employer can dictate to us what they're looking for. Are they looking for a morning co-op, an afternoon co-op, or a full day co-op? Would they prefer semester 1 or semester 2? I mentioned that accounting co-op pathway for a student. The preference there was semester 2 because tax season is busier. They could use more office help at that time. Whereas semester 1, they might not quite have as much. So when we talk about co-ops and we talk about meeting employers where they are, we're talking about moderating a co-op with support from staff so that student can be, gain insight into their pathway, because we know they're much more likely to be successful if they have that experience. And that high school co-op leads to college and university success, as well as apprenticeship and workplace success. I've included a QR code for those who would like to find out more. We have an employer dedicated website that can be used to access more information or to reach out if you have any other questions.
David, thank you so very much. That was a really insightful presentation. I liked when you actually referred to an employer not only being like an employer, but also being a trainer at the same time, and how critical that is. It was really good to hear. Also, I like the reference to durable skills. And I think my Wi-Fi, I have to kind of did I get cut out here for a second?
Your audio did not, your video did.
My video did, perfect. Yeah. Audio is all that you need, actually, at this point. But I liked your reference also that some people are not talking about soft skills, but durable skills. It's a really interesting and valuable term. I think that really translates into the needs of many of the organizations that are looking to fill the positions. And I also wanted to say that your link that you make from high school co-op to college and universities, and the flexibility that you offer employers, I think is really key for employers to making a decision. So I think thank you so very much. And on that note, now I'm going to pass it over to Donna with Brock University for her presentation, and then followed by Christina's, and then we can get to all the questions that are coming in. So over to you.
Amazing. Thank you. And I'm thrilled to be part of a group discussion where people are looking at youth employment and succession planning and how we all benefit by keeping the best and brightest in our region. I apologize if I look a little tired today. It's not my fault. The Blue Jays kept me up way past my bedtime last night. So bear with me as I try and get my energy back. And I think Brad was going to share, because I was having difficulties with sharing my presentation. Can you guys see it or no? I'm going to continue, and if we can show my slides, that's great, and if not, I'm sure they will be shared with everyone at a later date. There are lots of forms of work integrated learning, and Brock has a vision of recognizing that every student at Brock benefits by having some interaction with the community and giving back and engaging with them in some way. And so we have all of these different programs, and you've heard of field placements, we have case studies, we have research projects, we have apprenticeships, we have simulations, we have case competitions, all kinds of things. But at Brock, co-op is different. And so that's what I wanted to share with you, is a little bit about that to start off with. Really what co-op is at Brock is it takes things a step further. It doesn't just give students a little taste of something, it immerses our students in it, because when a student is enrolled in a co-op program at Brock, it's part of their degree program. So they graduate with a co-op degree. Could be an engineering co-op degree, not just an engineering degree. There's a quality assurance piece. They have to pass that work term in order to get a satisfactory on their transcript. And it's also very much integrated into their experience with webinars and things aimed at trying to help prepare them beyond the classroom training, but also incorporating what's relevant and valuable to organizations so that they can hit the ground running. So that's just the different kinds. Just know that co-op is different. And in the next slide, I'm just going to speak a little bit about what makes it different. It's full-time. They're not combining it with anything. When a Brock co-op student is on a work term, they are only on a work term. They're not taking classes. They're not doing anything else. They're not distracted. Their expectation is it's a 4, 8, 12, or 16 month. We call it an interview. It's their opportunity to apply everything they have to that workplace setting. They actually become an employee of the organization. They're on your payroll. You know, their expectations are set by you. They're mentored and supervised and guided by the employer on site, but they do have the support mechanism through Brock, where we ensure that quality control piece. And when there are issues or concerns, we work together to try and resolve them. The students are pre-screened. So we're looking at individuals who have maybe who have a higher academic average, who have the skills, competencies, and visions that are valuable in an organization. And the work term experiences are paid. The students aren't observing, they're actually performing. So that's another difference from some of the other work integrated learning activities that students can be part of. The work terms always coincide with the academic semester. So if you think about the school semester right now, we're in the fall, September to end of December, January through end of April, and then May through end of August. They are full-time, only working when they're on a co-op placement. And even though the majority of placements are 4 months or 1 academic semester, we recognize that there are some times when there are benefits to organizations to keep students longer, 8 or 12 months, or even 16 months. And so we have that flexibility built into our system to accommodate those kind of staffing needs that organizations may have. Then why hire a co-op student? There are so many different reasons. Probably one of the biggest is because of the value that they contribute. If we can switch up slides, that would be awesome. So they are a great relief for short-term peaks in workload. So what do I mean? An SME, you often have seasonal or project-based demands. The co-op students are a great source for employment at that time. Instead of hiring a 4, 8, or 12-month contract person, a co-op student comes in and they can handle things like tax season when it's really busy, or freeing up staff to do other things. For example, we had a student hired as an operations management co-op during the busiest quarter for the organization. They help with scheduling, inventory, quality control, documentation, and tasks that needed to be done, but that the current workforce wasn't capable of taking on. The students gain valuable experience, and the employers get a productive, contributing member to their team at a very cost-effective way. So yes, students are paid, but the salary is often significantly less than what you would pay hiring a full-time person, and it's for a shorter period of time, so there isn't that full-time commitment. We like to have our co-op students also help cover leaves, for example, a paternity leave, a maternity leave, an education leave, or those extended 12-month periods of time when you need someone and maybe you're looking at a contract hire. What a student brings that's a little different is that energy, that enthusiasm, that genuine determination to apply what they've learned and to prove to the organization what they are capable of doing. And that, like I said, we explain it to students. It's like an interview. It's a 4, 8, or 12-month full-time interview where you're able to showcase all of your talents. And at the end, it'd be great if you could leave with a job offer, but at the very least, you'll leave with a set of skills and experiences and hopefully a network and references that you otherwise wouldn't have had just by getting your degree. The cost-effective piece, the percentage of what you pay a co-op student, like I said, is significantly less than what you would pay a full-time employee. And with that comes all of this fresh perspective. I've been in the co-op space for a long time, and that's something that employers tell me over and over again. The leading edge concepts, that genuine enthusiasm, they actually elevate the entire team by being so excited to come into work and to try new things and to help the company achieve their goals. Brock is a strong believer in work integrated learning and co-op. In particular, we have 44 different co-op programs. I'm just going to let you take a peek at that because really every staffing need that you probably have is reflected in one of the programs. And although we tell the students that your degree doesn't define you, we know that there's value from recruiting from diverse different areas, because as a business you have different needs, right? You might have a technology need, you might have an engineering need, a business need, you may have a marketing or data analytics need, environmental study that you need done, you might need psychology students to help with some of the consumer behavior. All of those things are reflected in the programs that we have. And I just want to highlight, because we're very excited about this, our first cohort of engineering co-op students will be available this summer, and it's long overdue, and we think that'll complement all the other academically trained students that we have in the workplace. So you may ask yourself, why hire a Brock co-op student? Our goal, I said this at the beginning, I think collectively as a group, we want to keep our best and brightest in the region. Right now, probably 30 to 35% of Brock co-op students work in Niagara. We know that more would like to, but we don't have the opportunities yet to lure them in, to give them the experience, and then hopefully they can transition to full-time employees with that organization later on. So we're always looking to expand our relationship with organizations, because we know that students bring new ideas into the workplace. They bring these new technologies. They have advanced critical thinking, problem solving, innovation skills that all offer value to an organization. They can help you with your succession planning, right? They know that they have to start at the bottom and prove themselves and get more experience, but they have the potential to grow within the organization and take on more senior positions as those opportunities present themselves. For a co-op student, this just isn't a job for them. They're there to impress you. They know that their reputation, their references, even future full-time opportunities may stem from this experience and how they perform in your workplace. So they're there to earn your trust, prove their value, and leave with a positive, lasting impression. They know also they have to they have to pass their work term to get a satisfactory on their transcript. And let's face it, it's tough enough to fail an academic course, but nobody wants to fail a work term course. And our team in the co-op space are available to help if there are any challenges or problems or issues that the students may face that may be beyond their realm. We have really junior students. We have more senior students who might be on their third or fourth work term. So the student can fit the experience level that you're looking for. I think probably the most common downside, or the only downside that I can think of, is that you have to the co-op at the university, or at least at Brock University level, is paid. And so I know sometimes people say, we can't afford it. Fortunately, there are funding opportunities available to help offset that cost. And I know we're going to get into more of that later in the presentation, but I just wanted to mention the one that is relevant for everybody. If you are a for-profit, so an SME, you get a tax credit for hiring a co-op student, which is 30%, depending on the size of your business. It's between 25 and 30% of the cost of employing that student. And while that doesn't capture all of the expenses incurred, it really does help offset. And it just reinforces the fact that the government recognizes the value of taking on a student, of investing some time in training that individual so that they can then be a strong contributor to your organization and to our community. I just wanted to give you some examples of the organizations that we're already working with. There are some big, there are some small. and the kinds of roles, the types of roles that they take on within those organizations are so diverse. I just thought I'd share a couple of quotes. So Boathouse, if you're familiar with them, Matt shared, he's been hiring a co-op student year round. So instead of filling a full-time job with a full-time employee, what he does is every 4 months, so coinciding with our sequence, he hires a new co-op student. And I remember him saying, you know, some of my colleagues would say, well, why would you do that? Why would you want to have to train and retrain all the time? And he talks about this. He hires them as an accountant. He fills a job every 4 months. He said, I can train them to complete the expense reports, post invoices, work on purchasing. And I actually have a manual that each student updates. So we get better and better with the documentation and training. But he said, the reason I switch it every 4 months is I want that fresh perspective. I want people to come in and look at, okay, here's what they're doing now. I'm going to offer this suggestion on how to improve the business. And he's given lots of examples to us about how the students have exceeded expectations and done things above and beyond just an accounting assistant role, because they bring that innovation and the mindset of wanting to prove themselves and to stand out, so that when Matt has full-time opportunities, that he can hire them. And thankfully, he has hired a couple of our accounting students along the way. The next example is an organization called Runner's Edge, and they hired their first co-op student because they really wanted to enhance their marketing footprint, and the demographic that they were looking at was university age students. So they wanted to bring a student on, and they did, to create a marketing plan and a business strategy to help them grow their business using social media. And so they partnered with us, and the student, you know, not only did they do social media posts for the 4 months that they were employed there, but they set up a full year's worth of social media stuff that just automatically populates itself. And it's something that they never would have been able to do without the expertise and the passion that the student brought to the role. And the last example I wanted to share was a partner who has been with Brock, hiring Brock students for 25 years, a nonprofit. And this time she decided to hire someone outside of the realm that she usually recruits from, and a computer science student. The student worked to collect data from the Healthy Heart Schools program. They entered the data, so they did the manual stuff, but they also ran all kinds of analysis, and they're now using that information as evidence and support for presentations, papers, funding sources, all kinds of things that they wouldn't have had the time to invest to do. And now they have all this data to help them make business decisions and help them advocate for funding and support. So those are just a few local examples of ways that some of our members of our community have used Brock Co-op. The process is really simple. Brock is here to help along the way. They're your employee, but we can help you create a job description. We post your job and for free. We help you select and coordinate interviews on your behalf, and then ultimately work with you to extend an offer to a student. Once that work term begins, the support and assistance doesn't stop there. They're your employee, but if there are ways that we can help and support you along the way, we're there. And I think my experience with students is you invest a little time at the beginning to make it very expectations clear, show them the right way to do things. The word that employers often use is that they exceed expectations. They are willing to take on more and to offer suggestions on how you can improve your business. So there are all those other benefits that come with their ability to complete the day-to-day tasks that they were hired for. And then lastly, just going to get you to think about the ways that co-op students can make a difference in your business, because I often, the two issues that I hear from employers is I don't have money, and we talked a little bit about that, and things that are available. And the other piece is that, you know, I don't know what I could do with a student. How could they possibly help me? So I'm going to challenge you to think about some of your needs and pain points. For example, are there projects on your to-do list that you've never been able to do before because your team is too busy with day-to-day operations? Is there a process or a report or a system that your business could improve your business with a fresh idea or new technologies? Where are your challenges? And I would challenge you to consider employing a youth, someone from Brock's co-op program or the other organizations to try and help you achieve that goal. Do you ever find your team stretched out during peak periods? The other challenge is to hire students during those really busy times. For a lot of organizations, it might be summer. For those in an accounting stream, it might be the winter. We have them available year round. So imagine how they could contribute during your peak time to either take some of the workload of your full-time staff so they don't have to work overtime, or free up your full-time staff so they can work on special projects and other initiatives that you need done while the co-op student does some of the junior level assignments. And lastly, the value piece. How can they add value? Do you think having a marketing or a business student to help tell your story online, strengthen your social media, build a sales strategy would help you? Do you think an accounting or business student can help improve your process or track your data? Competitive analysis. Would it be helpful to know what the competition is doing and then work with you to implement some new and even better solutions to make your business more successful? And lastly, efficiency and automation. Those are all things. There are so many different ways that Brock Co-op students can add value to your organization. And I encourage you, and my last slide is my contact information, and then I'll pass the mic over. Please reach out if you have any questions, if you have any ideas. Like I said, I've been working with co-op students for a long, long time. And I would say that the overwhelming majority of the co-op work term experiences have been an incredibly positive experience for employers. They often use the expression exceeds expectations. And so I challenge you to think about how can we work together to keep the best and brightest in our region. And I would say that starting by employing youth is a really good starting point. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to the Q&A period.
Oh, thank you so very much for the presentation. It's really deeply actually appreciated. I think even from your early comments that you made, that your co-op is full-time, that you outlined which timelines they fit into or need to fit into for employers. But overall, I think the testimonials spoke really loud and are very effective ways of communicating and actually showing the innovation and the critical thinking that co-op students can bring to an environment, and how time and time again they can actually improve what is happening within actually an employment situation or with employers. So thank you so very much for that part of it. It's greatly appreciated. And I was equally as excited to pass it over to Christina with Niagara College for her presentation, and then we'll get to some of the questions that have come forward.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to do a quick check if you could see my screen and you can hear me okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative of all the speakers and learning from you. And I've taken lots of notes for myself as well. So it feels like a PD for me, in addition to our lovely guests here we have today. For folks who have just read, my name is Christina Farrow, and I'm the Director for Academic Advising and Career Services here at Niagara College, overseeing the academic advisors, our career services team, as well as our co-op team at both the Welland and Niagara on the Lake campuses. I'm here today to discuss a number of topics pertaining to accessing talent and funding initiatives. And I also wanted to take a moment to quickly highlight our programs here at Niagara College. So similar to the other two speakers, Career Services provides assistance to employers such as yourself interested in recruiting students and new graduates for a variety of reasons, including new talent, like we've talked about, staff coverage, peak season, or special projects. And opportunities could include co-op, permanent, year-round, or part-time or seasonal work. So that's what our team focuses on. We have an amazing teams throughout our institution that support our field placements that was mentioned, as well as case studies and other opportunities that exist within the WIL spectrum. But for my team, we focus on those co-op, permanent, year-round, part-time, or seasonal opportunities. So I'm so excited to get to showcase those opportunities for you today, with a particular emphasis on co-op. So in terms of our co-op model, NC students and graduates can gain hands-on experience in their program of study. This knowledge, similar to our other speakers, can really enhance their skill development and real-world application, making a positive contribution to the organization. And these are just some of my favorite photos that we have available. These aren't stock photos. They are of our employees, employers at our employer sites working with our students. So it's great to see sort of that hands-on approach that we take. Our next slide just really highlights all of the programs we have available at NC. So many of you on the call might be familiar with our programs. If you know someone who's attended Niagara College, or perhaps you are an alum yourself, within our co-op programs, we have over 19 programs in horticulture, engineering, culinary, carpentry, business, automotive, programming, and more. So again, our programs are available on this slide and really helps you grasp the nature of there's something for everybody. And within your organization, there's bound to be sort of a lane that you can maybe see yourself working with our students in. And we often partner with our different co-op consultants. Let's say, for example, someone in HR, their organization might be focused more so on carpentry renovation, but they might have an HR team. So we try to work with you to think about, even if you wanted to think about working with us in one area, there might be other opportunities to partner with us in other areas. So there's a lot of different things that we can do to support your organization through our programs that we have available. Similar to Brock, our programs are for full-time employment. We run cycles in January, May, as well as September. We have a group of about 100 students looking for work for upcoming January semester and about 700 looking for spring. So if you're thinking about reaching out, now's the time as we start working with all of those students to get them up and ready for their co-op opportunity. We also run 4-month co-op for the most part, but then some of our programs do have opportunities for back-to-back co-ops. Those are really our technology programs, as well as some have multiple work terms. The hours can vary. There's a minimum hour, but then every program sort of has a different minimum. So I would highly recommend, if you are curious about what that number is, you could reach out to us, or that information is also available on our website. So just thinking about co-op and what our programs can offer, similar to our other speakers, co-op students have hands-on practical experience from day one. They learn those durable skills and hard skills prior to co-op. They can build and enhance those skills in your workplace and then bring those directly back to their program. Our classrooms are all equipped and current with up-to-date hardware, software, tools, etc. So they can use those things in the classroom and then bring that knowledge directly onto your work site or your organization. And this helps really just ease that transition from academics to working within your organization. And then finally, our co-op students are coming to workplaces having attended a number of mandatory prep sessions, 5 in total. They've gone through resume, cover letter, interview prep skills, support, as well as a number of opportunities for them to develop those skills prior to entering your workforce environment as well. So don't take my word for it. I do have a quick video that really highlights from a student perspective the benefits of co-op program. I'm going to play it. If for some reason you have difficulty accessing the audio, I know a member of my team will showcase that the audio needs to be updated, and I'm happy to do that as well. But for everyone, feel free to enjoy our sizzle reel.
Niagara College offered me the greatest opportunity of taking this course, and then the opportunity of co-op.
Also gives you a good chance for networking, a chance to really expand on the skills that you learn in class.
I chose business administration because of the co-op. By having my co-op here, it gave me the opportunity to take what I learned in school and actually put them to use in my field of study.
I took a course on quality just last semester, and I was able to implement it into my new co-op here as a student at NEO.
My expectations going into my co-op was to really get that hands-on experience. In my classroom experience, we actually took a recruitment class, and one of my main projects here at NEO was actually being a recruiter for the manufacturing technician positions.
I was looking to see how it would feel in a certain work environment like AR in particular. I applied to AP here as well. I kind of wanted to get an idea to see how I would like that type of field, or if I wanted to more focus on something else.
They're very helpful in having those co-op prep classes. I attended those just to kind of get a refresher on how to prepare yourself for interviews and how to apply.
Even in my shop, like at school, I did the same process again with my professor, and he's like, where did you learn that? I was like, at my co-op I did this. And he's like, this is like most toughest part of it. And I'm like, well, I was taught by someone who was like very great, so.
Everything I brought and learned from my classroom, my peers, translated perfectly to my workplace peers. Co-op basically gave me an opportunity to It's kind of like an audition ticket to a very competitive environment, especially for hospitality.
But what I wasn't expecting was to get the opportunity to really find a place where I love to work, and that's what I found here.
Like if you don't have co-op, I feel like you won't have that confidence when you go out after graduation, you know, you're done with school, now what next, right? Once you have the co-op background, you'll be like, okay, I did this before, I can do it again.
Awesome. Thank you all for joining me and watching that video. I hope that it was helpful just to gain a little bit more perspective from the student perspective in terms of their experiences and visually see some of our landmarks in the Niagara region, but also some of our employers and how they're welcoming our students to the region, and hopefully, especially what we talked about, having them stay on moving forward. On our team, we also have a number of individuals that support career services, and I always like to give a quick plug for them as well, because in addition to mirroring all these pieces that we do for co-op employers, which I know a lot of them have been highlighted and will be highlighted in our discussion, we also work with any employer who wants to work with us for any job posting, whether that be for a current student that's maybe not a co-op, maybe it's a part-time opportunity or an opportunity after graduation. We work directly with alumni as well. So we can help with any staffing solution to support your needs, identify potential funding as we talked about, support you with job description development, posting our opportunities for free, collecting your resume, scheduling interviews either virtually at your work site, or we actually have an interview room on both campuses where you're welcome to use, and we schedule that and support our students by way of having a receptionist and other materials to help you along the way. We also have hired an Indigenous career consultant. She's wonderful and works directly with Indigenous students as well as employers looking to hire Indigenous students. And that could be Indigenous employers or non-Indigenous employers. So again, if you are someone looking to hire Indigenous students or you are an Indigenous employer, I highly recommend reaching out to us, and we'd be happy to connect you with Kathy. Most institutions, as most institutions do, we offer a career fair every February. Ours will be February 2026. And that'll be over 2 weeks, 4 days each on both campuses. So please look out for more information. If you're interested in signing up for more information, you can message me as well. And we also run industry-based fairs. So we have industry-based fairs for allied health. We've run fairs just for organizations like Niagara Health, for example, or police services. So we're really looking forward to cater to your needs. So if you've ended this presentation, you're like, I'm not sure about a co-op, career fair, I'm not sure, we can work with you to create a tailored opportunity to best support you as well. And then finally, just a quick promo for our partners within Community Employment Services. They do a wonderful job of doing sort of similar pieces, but really more integrated within our community organizations and supporting not just learners, but community members with accessing employment. So they're a great resource as well, and I would highly recommend reaching out to them to support your talent development as well. Okay, and just some quick snapshots and visuals of our career fair. It's always a great opportunity to welcome our students and our employers. And then thank you. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me directly, clcina@niagaracollege.ca, or you can visit my career accessing the QR code.
Thank you so very much, Christina. It was extremely helpful. I love the video because I think there's something to hear directly from the students, to seeing what actually impact their co-placement actually had on their career, and actually especially also on their confidence, which I think was really, really key to see. So I really, and it's greatly appreciated. So I just wanted to, we have about 10 minutes left, and there's a few questions that have come forward, and that not everyone has to respond to, but if one of you has some of the answers to, that would be appreciated. So the first question that has come forward, and it had been hinted at, but I think it's mainly related to Niagara College and Brock University. What kinds of wage subsidies or training grants or hiring incentives are currently available for, to employers in Niagara, Ontario? And I think some of you had made some references, but I was wondering if one of you, or David actually has his hands up, if you wanted to answer that question, and then we can go forward from here.
Obviously, Brock and Niagara College are going to be accessing pathways, supports for students that are a little bit different than maybe high school. But I think that it's important to include high school co-ops as part of the conversation regarding job supports, because we can support students in a variety of ways as well. And so I'll be brief, but basically every community has a different entity that can help support with jobs, whether it be the YMCA, Job Gym, Port Cares as an example, just locally within the region. Whilst high school students are unpaid during their co-op, if you choose to hire them for the summer, they can access some of those wage offsets to continue that first step into employment. And we can help facilitate that conversation with the area organization if that's something that you're interested in during that busy time of the year when people are going on vacation or when you have a surge in need for employment. And I think that, I don't want to speak for the other people representing Brock and Niagara College for Dana and Christina, but I think that's part of our job, is to help people, help make it easy for people to host our students, because we know it's so valuable for both.
Yeah, actually making an excellent point of saying, and really starting to take a look at co-op not only as that limited period of time of a couple of months, but rather looking at it and saying, like, how does it bridge into the long-term opportunity that open up, and therefore also the long-term funding that is available. And Donna, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, so there are 18 SWIP partner providers that will provide a wage subsidy of 50 to 70%, depending on the type of student that is hired, and making sure that they qualify as an official co-op student. Canada Summer Jobs funding is also available to nonprofit small businesses. That opens up in November, and it usually is a window that you have to apply for that funding before the middle of December. They haven't included the closure date, but that's another one. And then every employer that hires a student through a co-op program in Ontario gets the 25 to 30% wage subsidy, depending on the size of the organization. That's automatic. There's nothing you have to do other than hire a student. So there are things in place. I left my contact information. Would welcome an opportunity on our website. We have them all outlined. We would help you with the process as well, if that is of interest to you.
Yeah, that is excellent. We do the same, actually. We either redirect them to the three of you here and other organizations that are fulfilling and dealing with co-op students. But if anyone is interested in it too, we most definitely have an extensive list of opportunities that are available. Christina, I think this next question is geared towards you. How can small businesses compete with larger organizations to attract strong talent? And that is often a question we hear very regularly, especially as a lot of smaller companies don't have HR departments. It falls onto the desk of someone else who's already busy doing something else. So it's often a challenge that comes and then employers, especially small businesses, face.
Absolutely. Well, please use us as your HR department. That's the first and foremost. So like my colleagues mentioned, we can help recruit. So if you wanted to work with us and you have an idea of a job posting, we can help you from its inception develop what that job posting looks like. We can post it on your behalf on our free website, and we can directly send it to all of the eligible students. So not everybody. We always tailor our promotions to just who can see the job posting, which is who is eligible. So who is eligible in that work term for that posting. We can also then get all those applications, send you the package, even provide you with recommendations depending on what you need. We know certain elements from students where they live or what their interests are, so we can direct your attention to certain applicants or send you all of them, and you can make a decision. We can also help you book those interview rooms, interviews, and then help you with those offers or any additional support you may need. In addition, I would really encourage you to think of the small business factor as a benefit. I just got done some of our prep sessions, and a lot of them we talked about and had open conversations about those ghost jobs or those opportunities when you apply for a big company, you're so excited, but then you never hear back. And there's nothing wrong about having an amazing big company, but that also can come with some drawbacks when it comes to students not getting a personalized experience, especially for students who need that personalized touch when it comes to bringing them through a hiring process. So think of it as a benefit that you are a smaller unit, that you can provide more of that personal interaction, perhaps develop some informational interviews with your potential students and really onboard them in a really meaningful way. And then thinking about all the things that you do offer as a small company that wouldn't necessarily be the case in a larger company. And we can always help you with that narrative and story throughout the hiring process. So I'll start there. I know, David, your hand's up as well. I'm sorry, I was doing the moderating.
I am actually going to go to a different question just so that we get a little bit more in. Workplace culture is often cited as the top reason employees stay or leave. From your perspective, perspective, what specific cultural practices help employers attract and retain younger workers? And what simple challenges can businesses start with to actually create that culture where people feel welcome, will feel seen in their employment? And David, I'm going to direct it your way because your hand is up, although you might have wanted to respond to the previous question, but I think it's something that often is a hindrance, seen as a hindrance, and it could make a difference.
Well, it's interesting because I think the previous question and the current question are interrelated. I don't think you can talk about them in isolation or in silos. When you talk about that small business that's looking to recruit talent and attract talent, and then you talk about what culture a company needs to develop in order to be successful in fostering that talent, those definitely go hand in hand. And I think every business starts with relationship building. So I think if that small business or that business is looking to retain talent or attract talent, create a culture that retains that talent. If they're looking for the secret sauce, it's about relationship building and recognizing that the relationship that you build with young people, can be moderated and you can meet them where they are in order to bring them along to where you would like them to be. One interesting anecdote related to that, I had a student at a co-op and it wasn't going very well. And it was in the first 3 weeks or a month. And the employer said, if this was an employee, I would have fired them. And I said, well, I could appreciate where you're coming from, but ultimately you're trying to create an environment where that student becomes somebody you would want to hire. So what do we need to do to get there? And we were able to work together in order to kind of support the students' development of those durable skills to the point when they got to the end of their co-op, they were somebody that they would hire. And I think that culture of recognizing that mentorship is part of the development of a strong community culture within a business, small business, medium business, large business. I think that mindset approach is really, really important. And knowing that Niagara Catholic, Niagara College, Brock University offer supports to help students fit within a culture and develop that culture with you, I think is an important part of the process for a business.
Yeah, I really absolutely appreciate your reference there. And again, it comes back to what you said, that an employer is not only an employer, they're also a mentor, they're also a trainer at the same time, and we can't abdicate that element of it. We have only 2 minutes left, so I'm giving each one of you only 30 seconds to answer this one. But what advice would you give like an employer who wants to become a more active partner in the workforce development, especially when you look at the trends that are emerging among students and recent students that you have worked with in terms of what are their career aspirations, their skill development, their expectations as they're looking at a workplace? What are some of the things that you're seeing that employers who maybe are not as closely connected with that age group, with that cohort, that you feel like if employers would know that, they would be just more successful in the employment relationship that they're creating with the students? And David, if you're okay, I'm going to start out with you, move over to Christina, and then to Donna.
I think that we can be part, I think an ongoing conversation is important. Early on in the presentation, I indicated that facility tours, guest speaking opportunities, team teaching or workshops can be really, really valuable because those employers can let us know what it is that they're looking for, what they need, and students could have a better sense of what they need to work towards in order to be somebody who can pursue a career pathway. So like as an example, we were talking with the team from Asahi Kasai last week, and they were telling us about the differentiation points between maybe what our learning centers look like in our schools versus what they're looking for in their employees, and that they wanted to focus on quality control as a baseline skill set for a potential employee, and that any conversation we can have with students about developing that attention to detail would serve the student well as they transition out of the school into that training pathway. So I think letting us know what you need and putting us in a position to support it is a starting point for making sure that you find the talent that you want and that you're able to mentor moving forward.
That's an excellent point. And it's also really interesting to see how the needs are different by sector and likely the demands. Sometimes we're pooling everything together, whereas in the end, it really doesn't reflect the needs that the industry has. Christina, over to you. When we look at the question of kind of what are trends that you see emerging that might help employers as they're hiring young talent?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think one of the pieces that was talked about early, that one of the first pieces was that piece around misaligned expectations and students maybe entering, having an idea, an expectation of what that experience will look like. And or during and with if they unfortunately leave, that's still being misaligned. And so I just, as someone who does hire folks as well and has hired new professionals and youth throughout my career, it's really being open to being realistic in terms of what those expectations are. Don't sugarcoat it, like provide them with that realistic expectation in terms of what you need as an employer, what the industry needs, what their colleagues will need, et cetera. But then also being open to grow with this new workforce. They're bringing lots of really creative ideas, different values, different culture around workplace culture, et cetera. And some of those might not mesh directly with how our organization or your organization works with currently, but being open to thinking about expanding on what they have to bring, because for the most part, we've all been through that in terms of bringing in our own ideas when we have an organization who is used to a different way of doing things. And sometimes it's because that's what's needed to happen in terms of safety or professionalism, et cetera. But if it's something where we can expand and support, it really does help youth and for anyone joining see their own value and see that they see themselves in the organization. So that would be something that I would provide as well.
So true. And Donna, final comments on this?
20 seconds, engage and engage early. Reach out, connect, find ways to have coffee chats. We're all looking to bring organizations on campus to meet with our students, to give them this advice, to help train the next generation. So reach out, get involved, and the outcome, invest a little bit of your time, and the outcome will be very rewarding for our entire workplace and Niagara region community.
Yeah, I can only second this. This is something that we as a chamber always hear, the importance of connecting and engaging actually, and therefore growing that understanding and the network that we need to foster at the same time. David, Christine, and Lana, you've been amazing. Thank you for sharing your insights. For all participants who are interested in getting their hands on the presentations, on the resources that were mentioned today, please connect with us directly at info@gncc.ca. We really would love to share it with everyone. And this particular recording is also going to be made available on YouTube and on different channels so that everyone has access to it at the same time. My thanks go to the YMCA of Niagara as well for their partnership, the important partnership of linking employees and employers at the same time. And if any one of you have a topic, idea, or speaker that you wish for us to consider for our upcoming Lunch and Learn lineup, please let us know and contact us directly. We'd love to hear from you. So again, thank you for being with us and for joining us today.